Yo, what's going on, guys? We are live once again, where we come to you weekly, talk about some things that we're dealing with in hopes to inspire someone to actually start their journey, as well as motivate those who already have. This is kind of like, I guess, a behind the scenes,
yes,
or I don't know, behind the scenes. I don't know if that's the correct term for it. But for those of you who caught the video live last week, or caught the video not Sunday, caught the video live, or just caught it in general. You saw the part where Zay was talking and she didn't want to.
No, I wasn't talking. You actually.
I asked you,
okay.
I asked you, you said you wanted to do the Facebook. It is Tuesday. It's
let
it, hold on, Kevin Hart, let me explain. So, like we said on Sunday, we said maybe during the week we'll do a Facebook Live, or we'll do a live because Zay was. We're going to do the his or her take today. That's what we're going to do today, his or her take. So, the his or her take was, can you or should you fall in love, not fall in love, should you get into a relationship while you're on the grind, right? While in the midst of the grind, is it smart to get into a relationship? And I'm going to let Zay lead off on that.
Well, so, I feel like, yo, he played way too much. Okay, so I feel like.
Shout out to Jamba Juice.
Yeah, shout out to Shara real quick. Can we shout out right now? You know what I'm saying? Take a sip.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Jamba Juice.
Okay, no, as far as like getting in a relationship while you're on the grind, I personally feel like going through life altogether, you're growing and you're building. And I feel like if the person is right for you, and I feel like if the situation is... Wait, let me pause. Nothing's ever going to be right. I feel like instead of... This is my personal take. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you meet somebody and y'all vibe...
Just tell the experience. Just tell what happened. Just tell what happened.
No, I feel like, Jay... Okay, no, real talk, y'all. Okay, so ask me the question again.
Do you think you should go get into a relationship while on the grind?
I feel like when you're ready, yes. But I feel like if you're just dating just because you're lonely, no. But I feel like if you meet somebody and y'all vibing and you're at a stage to where you are ready for commitment and you're, because you're already building, right? In life, oh man. Jay, I'm gonna pause on this. Jay,
bruh.
While on the grind, do you feel like you should be in a relationship? Be open for a relationship?
I am. Alright, so look, just being real, I think like I can speak from it from a certain standpoint, because with me, I just recently, for those of you who don't know, I just recently found that that was a mistake. I just recently found my passion or my calling of being a motivational speaker. I just recently, recently truly accepted it. So for me, and then so after just recently truly accepting it, then I find myself falling for a young lady. Y'all know if you've been watching me, I have a girlfriend named Kristen, phenomenal, hey babe. But so falling for her while recently accepting the fact that I want to be a motivational speaker. So it was tough, and then we're long distance at that. She's in Louisiana, I'm in Virginia, so it's tough to do that when I really have to focus. Like I have all of this stuff in front of me, and it's like, yo, everything's begging for my attention, and Kristen's kind of like over here to the left because she's not necessarily in my face. So I have to consciously remember, look to the left because hey, she's over there. She needs you just as much as your dream needs you, right? So it's tough if you're gonna do it. I think that, like Zay said, I think that if it's not necessarily, we have to. If it's okay, put it like this. Like I said on the episode last week or Sunday, ship is designed to take you somewhere. So if you get into a relationship, it needs to take you somewhere. And and that's where I think that could be the determining decision maker, if you will. Like if you guys both line up to where you're trying to go, because man, I mean, it wasn't, it's still not 100% easy, but it's definitely gotten a lot better. But it wasn't easy, man. With me really trying to go all in and finally finding what I've been looking for, really trying to go all in. It got to a point, just being real, it got to a point where I felt like I was cheating on my dream with Kristen. Wow. And I was just like, and I knew that people had both, like somebody had, like people have been successful and had a successful relationship or a successful marriage. And I'm like, how do you do both? How do you do both? And it was very frustrating to me, especially when I'm trying to, I know what I want to do and I know where I want to go, and she's figuring it out and she's in that process. So it's kind of, it was very frustrating when I was trying to go 120, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to gas pedal to the floor and she's kind of like, you know, doing the speed limit. You know, I'm trying to speed, and not there's anything wrong with that. It's just that I'm at a place where I wasn't, and I realized that in relationships, you have to slow down for the person you're with if you want to grow together. If you truly want to grow together and be with that person, then you have to slow down for that person. Just because like that person may have to slow down for you in the future. And it was a struggle at first. I didn't necessarily like it. You know what I mean? Like, slow down. But yeah, so I think that you definitely can get into a relationship or fall for somebody while you're on the process of going after your grind. I think that you should definitely make sure, the way it was put to me before was go head first and not heart first. So think about it, you know, don't feel it, think, you know, make sure that your values are lined up, especially if you know what you want and you know what you're going after. Make sure your values are lined up. Make sure, you know, your belief system is lined up. Make sure that you want the same things, or, you know what I mean, like they're not just trying to join the train, but they're actually trying to put coal into the engine so that you guys can ride together. So I think it's definitely possible. What you got?
Yes. So I agree with you 100%. I think definitely it's just like any other any other goal in your life, any other goal or dream. You should definitely be writing down what you want in your significant other. You should definitely and be very specific too. Because it's any other, you know, it's another goal in life. You know what I mean? People think, oh well, it's just a part of life. Not always. Yeah. Especially if that's something that if family is really important to you, if that's something you really want, I think you should definitely like define what you want in the other person. And as far as like meeting them along the journey, if the time, like you would know, okay, and I'm gonna just be real with y'all. So if you meet somebody and y'all kind of kicking it, but you don't know where that person's headed, and like you can feel when somebody's not being real with you, or you can just feel like when y'all not on the same page. I know as a woman, for me, you can feel when like this ain't gonna work. So I wouldn't push anything that's not gonna work. Whenever your person comes, you'll know. And it's not hard. It's not hard, no matter with distance. And it's like everything flows. So as far as like principles, your values, and just how they treat you and how they respect you as soon as y'all meet. It's like you don't have to teach them anything. Like they already know because y'all are meant to be. But it's not like you never know. Like so in life. Like with anything else we talk about, you might be like, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship until my late 20s, early 30s, but you might meet somebody tomorrow. You never know, and you can't like push that person away if you know and you feel like I can build with you. Another thing that I'm open-minded to right now is just like I've said it before, but just letting the universe live through you. When you're in situationships and you're just kind of with somebody, but you're not committed to somebody, I don't think you get that full lesson in life. And I feel like you'll attract the same type of relationships over and over and over. You'll go through the same stuff over and over. And you're like, why is this happening? And it's because the reason why you're not learning the lesson is because you're not committing 100%. My grandma used to always say, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're kind of in a relationship, you're kind of learning things through life. You're not really learning what you need from that person or from a relationship, because a relationship is like any other thing in life. It's something that you have to grow from and develop from, to make not only yourself a better person, but you're also making the other person better as well, because they're going through their journey too. And another thing I think you should consider whenever you are in a relationship, especially if you have big goals and dreams, is that it might not work out, and that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just a part of life. So whenever you and that person share a moment, it's like, yes, we enjoyed this moment because we were 100% committed to each other in that moment. We got what we needed, but now, you know, based off of what we've been through and we both feel this way, we decide we're not supposed to be together. But it doesn't have to be necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just what it is. If you have two whole people and two full people, and then they become one, and then they both decide, okay, this isn't for me, that's okay. But if you have somebody who's putting an ear or a fingernail in a relationship and the other person giving their whole self, you never really know, and that just creates more confusion and more uncertainty, and that's why the world's so messed up. Right? I ain't gonna say that's why, but that's like a contributing factor why we don't really trust each other. Like women and men don't really trust each other. We really don't know how to be involved with each other. Because some people think, I'm going. Some people think even for women, they think, well, just because a girl likes you or whatever, they think, automatically she want to be in a relationship. No, maybe at this moment in my life, I just want to chill. But I don't know. I feel like whenever you meet somebody and you do feel like you can be right with me, I feel like it's all about vulnerability, because I said it all wrong. But it's all about being.
They got it.
It's all about being honest with yourself. Don't be out here saying, "Oh, I'm hard. I don't need nobody. I don't need no relationship, and I'm trying to go through life all miserable." We're human beings. We're spiritual beings, and we're meant to connect with somebody and have intimacy with them. You know what I mean?
And I think that you have to know yourself first.
You definitely have to know yourself.
You have to have that intimacy and that connectivity with self, because if you don't, you can't really give something to somebody when you don't know what that giving is. If I don't really know me, how can I give myself to you 100%? And so if you're in the process of getting back to the quick his or her topic, getting into a relationship while you're on the grind. So if you're in that process of finding out yourself, then of course it will be very difficult to get into a relationship, because you're still trying to figure out what you want to be and who you want to be. You can find yourself. I think that you can do it while you're in a relationship if you have someone who's willing to help you do it.
Yes.
Not necessarily mold you into who they want you to be, but help you and give you that freedom to venture out and become who you want to be, and still support you in it. You know what I mean? You have to be mindful of that as well. It's a lot easier to do it when you're by yourself, but it's not impossible when you're with somebody else. And
that just I feel like another thing, and this is kind of going off a little bit, but I want to touch on it, is going through day to day, y'all, we need to be our authentic self. If there's something about yourself that you're not happy with, that doesn't mean you have to be like that for the rest of your life. You can start to grow towards the person you want to be. But if you're not being 100% yourself every day, no matter how ugly you may feel or how unhappy you may feel, if you're not being 100% that person every day, whenever you do meet somebody and they know your potential, because like I said, we're spiritual beings, so we can feel each other, and they're like, man, I know what you could be, I know I can feel this, but because you're not being 100% real with yourself, you blaming it on them because they acting towards how they feel. It's just a whole confusion and mess.
And we know, like you said, we know, people can tell when you're being fake. If you're not being consistently the same person, then it's going to show eventually, whether it's now or in the long run. But you just have to be willing to be you. I remember writing down some things I didn't like about myself, and I was like, man, this hurt. You know what I mean? I was like, this don't feel good. But then I really thought it to myself, and I was like, I love myself enough to acknowledge the things that I don't like. And I really think that we have to get to that place. We have to love ourselves enough to really acknowledge and accept and embrace the things that we don't like, because we can't change them if we don't embrace them, if we don't harness them and make them ours instead of us belonging to them. Because if you don't take control, then you belong to them as opposed to vice versa. And
another thing I realized is a lot of the issues a lot of the things that we do see in other people, we see it in ourselves. Mm-hmm. So it's really just us, but we just see somebody else's face on it, and we're like, oh, that's why I don't like that person. But really, it's something that you probably do that you don't like about yourself.
Definitely.
But I say all that to say, I personally feel like if you meet somebody and it's right timing, because I will use myself for an example. I've done a lot of things in my life, and I've come very far, but I feel like, now is the time for me to start building. And I'm not going to let somebody go who I know, who I know I'm really connected to, and I'm not gonna fight the universe, because that wouldn't be good. So, but you gotta be honest when you meet somebody. You gotta just tell them how you feel, and then if they're not feeling that way, okay, move on. It's not a good or a bad thing. People get so emotional. I like when you said go with your head and not your heart. because your feelings will have you messed up, and feelings are temporary. You also got to build a relationship off of principles.
And we give so much power to feelings. It's crazy how much power we give to the feeling of being hurt, the feeling of being angry, the feeling of being happy, the feeling of, you know what I mean, of being grateful, whatever it can be. We give so much power to these feelings, but we have to realize that those feelings are not are ours. We are not our feelings.
No.
So like we have to realize that you're not mad, you feel mad.
Yes.
You know, so when
I love
you
it.
phrase it like that, you take control over it. So like you are not angry. Like when you say you are angry or I am angry, then you live that.
And you internalize
Yeah,
it.
you tell yourself that I'm an angry person. I'm an angry individual. But when you say in this moment I feel angry, now you're able to analyze why you feel angry.
Yeah.
What's causing the problem? What's causing me to feel angry? Or in this moment I feel happy. I feel joy. I feel excitement. What's causing it? So I can create more or eliminate a lot of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely. But I really think that if you have to self-assess first before you make that step into getting into a relationship while you're on the grind, because the grind, we talked about it before, guys. The grind takes a lot of time.
Yes.
You know, and if you're going after a goal, you're going after a dream, and you are really into it, especially if it's a life-changing goal, a life-changing dream, it takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to get into that relationship, you shouldn't get into a relationship lightly. You know what I mean? You shouldn't take that severity of the grind lightly, because it's real. You know what I mean? And your partner should understand that prior to getting into the relationship. And I think that's something that helped. Just speaking from a personal place, that's something that helped me, because I let my girlfriend know, like, hey, I was hesitant being real, getting into the relationship. I told her, like, I'm going to be busy, and I don't want to feel guilty for being busy. Like, I don't want to feel bad for working X amount of hours. I don't want to feel bad for staying up late and doing, different things. So I had that conversation with her off the rip, and I think that helped a lot in some of the problems that may have arisen, because we can go back to that, like, hey, well, we knew it was gonna be like this, but how can we move forward and adjust where it needs to be adjusted? Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
And then after that self-assessment, like he was pretty much just saying, like, you got to make sure you and that person are on the same page. Like, hey, I'm working hard, so hey, you might get 10 minutes tonight, but your futures, you shouldn't be dating for fun. You shouldn't be dating like, oh, because I was lonely or because I wanted something to do. Like, especially if you're grown and you're really trying to grow as a person. But I mean, but then that's your life. But me, I only get in a relationship, or I only date. I don't play around. So if I see a future with you, if we're working towards something, and like I said, we may or may not get married, but at the same time, like, we're working towards something, so we're only growing together. And then after we, get whatever we need, then but it's not a good or bad thing. It's not a good or bad thing. I think, but you definitely got to look at your situation and what you want with your life, who you want to be, what type of person you want to be with. It's a lot of factors. Do you have the time? Are you ready to embrace your ugly side, your good side? Are you ready to share that with somebody else? I think we take relationships lightly. I think we already said that, but it's serious, because it's a part of your life.
It is, and it can be life-changing. And from a good or bad standpoint, it really can. Especially if you jump into something and you're not ready for it, and you know you're not ready for it, but you jump into it anyway. I'm reminded of a past relationship that I was in, and I wasn't ready to be in that relationship because I just got out of one, a serious one. You know what I mean? And I wasn't ready to be in that relationship, and that person was strong in herself. She was a strong-minded individual, which I don't have any problem with that, but I wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I wasn't able to really be in it, and it took me to a place where it really broke me down. You know what I mean? But it broke me down and it built me up. But I didn't necessarily have to go through that had I really listened to and trusted myself.
Yeah.
So definitely knowing yourself prior to getting into that relationship, but at the same time, like, self-assessing your entire life and being real with that person up front, letting them know, like, yo, if I'm gonna be with you, I'm gonna be with you, but I also have to be present, and I have to be 100% in my goal and my dream as well. So I think that you can do it, but you just have to know, you got to know yourself before you do it.
Yes.
But
I'm trying to stay on track. But
no,
we didn't want
we didn't want this to be too long, guys.
Yeah,
we just wanted to hit on that his or her take, because we didn't do it on the show. So yeah, guys, we appreciate everybody who's been tuning in. Shout out to all the comments. We appreciate you, Megan. We definitely, and I think it was another one. Hold on, wait, I don't want to miss nobody. Devon, definitely, and my man Frankie. Much love, mad love. We're gonna get out of here, guys. Hope you have a great night, phenomenal night, and we'll see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday.
Much love. Y'all be great, guys.